is a very interesting day, and we are going to look at some of the things that are happening in our country, basically. If we can go to the next story, Alan, we see exactly what has been happening. Quite a number of things, like former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua has pledged to work with all Kenyans to challenge President William Ruto's administration and make any chance of his re-election in the 2027 general election unlikely. The former DP, who has relentlessly criticized Ruto's administration since he was booted out through an impeachment last October, joined opposition politicians Kalonzo Musyoka and Eugene Wamalwa during the unveiling of the latter's new DAP party headquarters in Nairobi.
Mimi naomba jamii ya Mlembe. Amekuja huko anaita mimi mkabila. Ati ndio mimi nisisaidie nyinyi. Siku nilimsaidia hakujua mimi ni mkabila. When we voted for William Ruto, we knew he's not a Kikuyu. 87% of my people voted for him. We knew he's not a Kikuyu. 13% voted for Raila Odinga. We knew he's not a Kikuyu. We had our own candidate called Wahiga Mwaura. We never voted for him because we are not tribal. Saa hii ameona tunashikana na watu ya Wiper. Ameona tunashikana na Mlembe Nation. Na hapo Mlembe Nation ndio naona amekwamia hapo. I think it's his last hope. Sasa anakuja huko kusema ati mimi ni mkabila, ati ndio msinikaribishe tusifanye pamoja. President William Ruto, hear it from here, Chui House. The same way Mulima ilisaidia wewe, it is possible tunaweza saidia hii watu ya Mlembe. It is the same way tunaweza saidia huyu Kalonzo. Na sisi hatuna contract na wewe. Deni yetu na wewe tulimali. We had intended to pay you in 2 installments. Tukakupatia the first installment, ukagusa Mulima. Hiyo deni ikafanya nini? Kaisha. We owe you no debt. And let us not approach this election with a predetermined mindset. That lazima ikuwe ni mimi ama ni mimi. Wacha tuseme tuko na kibarua ya kungoa hii jamaa. That is the first objective. Let us consolidate our votes, consolidate. Uzuri, payslip holders are 3 million. Na every payslip holder has a minimum influence of 2 people. Those are 9 million people who have a personal issue with William Ruto. Sasa, ongeza Gen Z. Maneno inaisha.
I guess 2027 general election is going to be a very, very interesting thing to, watch, just play out, see how the different political leaders are going to play out their strategies and how, if possible, they intend to remove President William Ruto during the 2027 general election. And Wiper leader Kalonzo Musyoka was also in the same meeting, said those opposing the government need to be strategic and secretive to avoid unveiling their plans to the Kenya Kwanza government if they are to dethrone it in 2027. Musyoka, who was speaking during the PK party offices unveiling, where the former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua was also present, also denied any involvement in the delay of the reconstitution of the IEBC.
Because you know them. You are dealing with very crafty characters. So we need to be able to be very, very deliberate. We are not going to be announcing every step. My friend Eugene, let's not announce everything to these people. We have to be strategic. Wacha tuwakamatie chini. Sina mna hiyo? Wangapi anasema tuwakamatie chini? That is my advice today. Yesterday I advised Sifuna, Secretary General of ODM. And Salasi, I'm sorry I annoyed you. But I said bado tunaongea nawa. Sifuna was talking beautiful language. Beautiful language. Says if you abandon the people, Mimi Sifuna was talking like us. Ata abandon wananchi. And this is a constituency, these are his constituents. Our sister Bosibori was hosting us there in Dagoretti North. And so, I advise that we do not give William Ruto the excuse to delay formation of IEBC. I'm happy that he has already gazetted the names, and as we speak, out of the 9, I think 7 have already been sworn in. There will be an election. The other reason they are delaying this whole thing about IEBC is because they know now under the constitution you can recall some of those MPs. Wanaogopa hiyo kama kitu ingine. And I want to prepare our people. Now that IEBC is there, tafadhali mujiandae hawa watu wawe recalled, because they have acted unjustly. They have supported corruption. They have, above all else, stood for a government that abducts its own citizens.
Well, the event also brought together leaders from different parties like former Secretary General UDA, Cleophas Malala, Karungo Athang'wa, Gathoni Wamuchomba, and Dan Maanzo of Wiper Party, a possible indicator of a looming coalition between the leaders. With more than 2 years left to the general election, the political landscape is already shifting in earnest, with strategic maneuvers in place to secure alliances.
Wakenya, mimi ningependa kumaliza hivi. Nyinyi wazee mko hapa. Kwa hisani yangu binafsi ningependa kuwasihi hivi. Tafadhali mchunge nchi yetu isiende mtoni. We are expecting you to change what has been happening in this country. Don't get power and go back and do the same things that William Ruto is doing.
See a fresh beginning. I see a concerted effort. The church, you're not alone. Civil society, you're not alone. Gen Zs, you're not alone. Our mothers and fathers, you're not alone. Wale mnaabdaktiwa kwa kusema SHA is not working, you're not alone. The journey has started today, and it is a one-term president called Kasongo going home, na kati ya hawa watatu tutakuwa na mmoja wao wakiongezewa Martha Karua na wengine watakao tuunga. Tunataka hiyo siku ikifika tunaapisha mmoja wenu akiwa rais wa taifa la Kenya, rais wa 6.
That's how it's going to play out. Now, the road to the reconstitution of the IEBC begins as President William Ruto yesterday appointed members of the selection panel tasked with recruiting nominees for the position of the chairperson and members of the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission. The nominees are Professor Adam Zolo, Dr. Nelson Makanda, Fatuma Saman, Ambassador Koki Muli, Evans Misati, Nicodemus Bo Kipchirchir, Andrew Tanui Kipkoech, Caroline Kituku, and Linda Kiomega Ki. In a Gazette notice dated 27th of January, the President revoked the appointment of members of the panel who were earlier appointed in 2023. This comes amid pressure for Ruto to urgently establish the IEBC selection panel, with claims that he was interfering with the independent institutions and stalling reforms.
Let me also join the Chief Registrar of the Judiciary and the Principal Administrative Secretary to extend my heartfelt congratulations to each one of you, members of the IEBC selection panel, on your appointment to this crucial national duty. Since January 2023, the IEBC has been unable to fully discharge its constitutional mandates, creating significant gaps in our electoral process. And the effects of this vacuum, ladies and gentlemen, have been far-reaching. Vital functions such as boundary delimitation, voter registration, and by-elections have stalled. Even more concerning, the absence of duly constituted commission has denied some constituencies and wards their fundamental right to representation in the National Assembly and in the county assemblies. This is not just an administrative challenge For me, it is undemocratic disruption. We cannot and we must not allow such a situation to persist any longer. The Constitution is clear. Governance must be continuous. Institutions must function effectively, and the rights of Kenyans must not be held hostage by uncertainty or unnecessary delays. As the judiciary, we remain unwavering in our commitment to upholding the rule of law and protecting the constitutional processes from manipulation, obstruction, or undue influence. While every Kenyan has the right to seek legal redress on matters of constitutional significance, this right must not be weaponized to store governance or advance narrow political interests at the expense of the public good.
At least I believe that's one hurdle that is about to be, taken care of. We need an IEBC before the election, even as different political parties, start going and forming alliances. Without the IEBC, all that is being done is nada. The National Treasury is expected to disburse January and February allocation within the next month as the county bursaries ban is in place following a directive by the Controller of Budget. During the meeting yesterday, IBEC further resolved that the Council of Governors and Controller of Budget establish a customer desk to receive and process on behalf of county governments any emerging issues related to the approval process for the withdrawal of funds from the County Revenue Fund. Deputy President Kithure Kindiki said the two institutions will seek a middle ground to make sure education is not affected for learners.
So far, I think when we met last time, there were issues around fostering an understanding between the Council of Governors and the Controller of Budget, which is one of the independent offices. And I think that matter is work in progress, and we did achieve some consensus around the issues which were on the table at that time. I know after that meeting, another issue has arisen, and it's part of today's agenda. And that's why it should be. When you have different institutions, different offices, it is normal for us to have differences of opinion on a matter. What is not normal is to attack each other or to be confrontational and to bring disrepute to any of the offices that are established by our Constitution. And therefore, I know we have some differences of opinion around the issue of education support by county governments, which is part of today's agenda, and I'm sure will find some consensus around the issue one way or the other.
All right, let's now take a look at what is happening in our dailies. We'll start off with the Star newspaper. The Star newspaper today, my gov is in there, so the Star newspaper is really fat. And it has a very interesting headline. It reads, Matiang'i factor in anti-Ruto Raila wave in Kisii land. Politicians from the region say their community has been shortchanged since Uhuru Kenyatta's super minister left government. And so they're literally moving in droves in anticipation of their sons stab at the presidency. Matiang'i is going to be a very interesting candidate in 2027. If you can remember, the Gen Zs had started screaming his name, saying that he should actually become the president of the Republic of Kenya. Page 3, the Makonde's long trek to getting Kenyan citizenship. And then we have Gusii revolts rather. And then who is fooling who? Unveiling the puzzle of Uhuru Ruto hot-cold relations. Pundits reveal 2027 intrigues in Ishaweri meeting and recent clash over Gen Z. Now the back page of the People, the Star newspaper is the sports. The bar set high as Kibiwot is said to gauge form in Xiamen Diamond League ahead of global show in Japan. The Standard newspaper, bare-knuckled. Oh my goodness, did you listen to the deputy president unleashing, statements against the president, the former deputy president unleashing statements against the president, accusing him of being very corrupt. As in, now picture this, you and your wife seated in the house listening to the news, and then your kids, young kids, are listening to the president and his deputy and his former deputy, basically just throwing all kinds of words. It's not a good picture, is it? The former deputy president, Rigathi Gachagua, in a scathing attack on President William Ruto, has claimed he presides over corruption at State House and that a new coalition will be crafted to ensure he's a one-term president. Okay. Then crisis Goma meeting called in Kenya. By the way, Rwanda needs to keep its hands. If you understand what's happening in the DRC, basically it is just bad because countries around, Uganda, I can clearly say Uganda, Rwanda. I'm not very sure about Kenya, but Kenya also has interest. France and other Western countries have perpetually caused DRC to be in turmoil, to have problems, wars throughout. For one reason, they want to rip that country of its resources, and they've been doing that. Rwanda is registered as one of the countries that, sells gold in the world. Rwanda don't have gold. So where are they getting that gold from? They're getting it from the DRC. M23 forces are literally, Rwandan forces, or Rwandan-backed forces, plus some forces from Rwanda who are crossing into the DRC to cause problems for that country so that they destabilize the nation and they are able to harvest resources from that resource-rich country. I just hope that the South African forces who are there and who, unlike the Kenyan forces who went there and did not engage, have engaged, and I hope they're going to push back the M23 to their boundaries and push them over into Rwanda so that that country can, at least for some time, be able to enjoy some peace, because quite a number of people have lost their lives, thanks to Rwanda's president. Now, witness conflicts, evidence gaps, expose fault lines in Wanjiro's case. If you don't understand what Wanjiro's case is all about, Wanjiro was a marathoner who basically died in his home. He's said to have fallen from a window, but there were quite a number of people who are doubting exactly what happened. And they've serialized the results of that investigation, and they tell you exactly what it's all about. And then on the 4th page, we got Maina Jenga's return, power, past ghosts, and a mountain to unite. Tell you what, Maina Jenga, even if he comes in a white gown and wings at the back, I would not trust him. As in, I lived through a period where he caused a lot of havoc and cost the lives of so many people. So I would not touch him with a 10-foot pole. Him, even if he told me he's a pastor, he's an apostle, even he's a prophet, unless the Holy Spirit himself tells me this guy is changed, nah, I don't believe that. And the things he's been doing, by the way, he's storming other people's meetings with goons. And in fact, on the page 5 of the Standard, you have Central Region dreads suspected Mungiki revival. And there are people in government who really want to see that done. May the Lord visit them. In the last page of the Standard, Munro takes final trip to land of no return. This is former Mathare Youth Sports Association players were carrying the casket of their founder, the late Bob Munro. Now, Munro is a guy who basically has impacted the lives of quite a number of people from that region, from that area. The Nation newspaper, race against time, as the different individuals are sworn in as we head towards the formation of the IEBC. Tell me what, I don't know, the IEBC position, the chairmanship, is one of the most troubled positions in Kenya. I don't know why anybody in the world would want to get that position, because the elections in Kenya are never won. Even when you win, you have not won. And every time we've had election in Kenya, the IEBC chairs have almost always been changed. They've been accused, called all kinds of names, because in Kenya, no one loses elections. Race against time, the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission could be fully constituted within the next 3 months following the swearing in of a 9-member selection panel to recruit the commissioners. Then we got the thinning payslip dampen civil servants' car ownership dreams. Then football match angle in Wundai prison break. Hey. Let me see. African president outlined plan for the Africa we want. DP pushes for talks in governors, COB bursaries deadlock. And then the back page of the Nation, where's the cash? School principals raise alarm. And then no engineers lobby. Oh, no. Engineers lobby tell president on Jumwa appointment. Aisha Jumwa has been rejected by the engineers lobby group. This country, if you don't know Sijui Nani, some of this position, it's like a musical chair. They keep on moving from one person to the other. Well, hopefully in 2027, the young people are going to do their thing. And let's hope they don't learn the bad manners from their parents. Let's take a short break. When we come back, we get into how you can be able to create wealth. We'll be talking to Bernard Ochieng as we look at how you can make the Benjamins.
Up next on EBN TV.